All right, this video is on solving two-step equations. So what we're going to do is combine the two steps we've learned into one problem, okay? And all you really have to do is remember what order to do them in, okay? So remember, we got two sides to our equation here, and our goal is to isolate x, to get x all by itself on one side of the equation. So that means we need to get rid of the 3, and we need to get rid of the minus 7. I'm going to change the minus 7, make that plus -7. Okay, so we know our two steps, add the opposite, and then multiply by the reciprocal. And the question is, what order do we do them in? So we're going to do them in that order I just listed them. Add the opposite, multiply by the reciprocal. You're adding the opposite of the addend, which in this case is -7, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So -7 plus 7 is 0, and that cancels out. Don't forget to do the same thing to the other side. So over here I have -40 plus 7. The negative's bigger. It's bigger by 33. And on the left side, I still have 3x left over. Okay? So that's step 1 completed. I added the opposite. And normally we'd be done at this step, but now we also have to get rid of this 3. So remember, the 3 is multiplying times x. It's the coefficient. So we're going to do the reciprocal of it, which would be 1 over 3. Because that would cancel out, okay? And then I do the same thing on this side. We can simplify by 3, and I end up with x equals -11, okay? So those are our two steps. They're the same two steps we've already learned, but we're doing both of them to the same equation. Step 1 is add the opposite of the addend, so the number being added. And step 2 is multiply by the reciprocal of the coefficient. Okay, in this case, it was the 3. You need to show your work this way, okay? Showing a step, then showing the result, then showing another step, and showing a result, okay? Because eventually we're going to get to multi-step problems where we're doing 3, 4, maybe 5 steps, and we need to keep our work organized. So you want it nice and clean so you can tell what's going on, okay? So let's try another one. So go ahead, if you think you've got this, try this one on your own and then hit play to check yourself. But if you need to go through it, you can follow along with me. Okay, so remember, step 1 is add the opposite of the addend. So in this case, that's a 6.4. So I'm going to do some subtraction. Okay, and that equals -2x. Then I'm going to do the reciprocal of -2 to cancel that out. Same thing on the other side. So it ends up being negative. Do the math out on the side. So 37.8 divided by 2. 18.9. So 18.9, but it's negative because that 2, the negative, made it negative. So -18.9. All right, again, try this one on your own, but if you still need to go through it together, follow along. All right, so add the opposite. It's -18, so I'm adding +18. So that would be a -12 equals 4x. Now the reciprocal of the 4 cancels out, and this simplifies to -3. So remember the order of your steps and to show out all of the steps as you go, okay, step by step. All right, this one, if you want to try on your own, go for it. So I'm going to change that minus to plus and negative. So first step, add the opposite of the addend, which is the 11. 11 plus 0 is 11. Now I'm going to do the reciprocal of the 3. Cancel it out, so x is by itself. 11 over 3 doesn't simplify, so you can leave it like that. So 11 over 3 is fine. If you want to make it a mixed number, you can. You don't have to. If you want to say 3 2/3, go for it. But either one of these is a fine answer. So 11 over 3 or 3 2/3. All right, go ahead and try this one on your own, and then hit play to check your work. So I'm going to change this to plus and negative. So step 1 is add the opposite of the 6. I get -28. I have -9x left over here. Next step is reciprocal. So you notice it's just the same steps over and over and over again. This doesn't simplify at all, so I'm just going to leave it It's going to end up being positive 28 over 9 because the negatives canceled out. If you really wanted to make it into a mixed number, you can, but you can leave it improper. That's totally fine. Okay, so remember, it's the same steps over and over and over again. All right, go ahead and pause this one, try it on your own, and then hit play to check your work. So opposite of 3.4 is negative 3.4. These are both negative, so it's going to add up. Get negative 16 equals 8x. So when I do the reciprocal of the 8, negative 16 divided by 8 is negative 2. So my x is negative 2. Okay, so check your work as you're going. Make sure you're showing all these steps. If you're not showing your steps, you're not going to get credit for the full work. All right, on this one, we got 7/9 plus 3/5 x equals negative 1 2/3. For some reason, as soon as you throw fractions in, it makes the problem seem 10 times scarier, but we're doing the exact same steps. So it's positive 7/9. So I'm going to do negative 7/9, okay? So that cancels out. I'm going to do it to both sides. All right, so I got negative 1 2/3 and negative 7/9. Common denominator is going to be 9. So if I multiply this by 3, I get negative 1 6/9 plus negative 1 7/9, which is negative 1 13/9. Okay, but instead of writing negative 1 13/9, that's a weird way to write it. I'm going to make it the improper fraction. Okay, so remember you do 9 times 1 is 9, plus 13 is 22. So this is now 22/9. Okay, so make it improper. It makes life easier because, as you're about to see, you're going to need it to be improper anyway. So my coefficient is 3/5. The reciprocal of that is 5/3. The 3's cancel out, the 5's cancel out. So times 5/3. I look to see if I can simplify. It doesn't look like anything here is going to simplify. 22 and 3, no. 9 and 5, no. So x equals negative, because of that one negative. My denominator is 27, 9 times 3. And my numerator is going to be 110, because 22 times 5. Okay? And I would just leave that as improper. You don't have to change it to a mixed number, so I wouldn't. Okay? So it's still the same steps. It's just the math gets a little harder. Okay? Remember, you need a common denominator. Changing things to improper makes life easier because you have to be able to multiply anyway. Okay? So remember those sort of steps when you're doing a fraction problem. So try this one on your own and then hit play to see how you did. So looking at this one, I'm going to change this to plus a negative right off the bat. So first step is opposite of this 3/8 is negative 3/8. So common denominator is going to be 40. So this is negative 15/40. What I might do here, since I'm going to have to make it improper anyways, go ahead and make this improper. So 3 1/5 is really 15 16/5, right? So that's 16/5. And I'm multiplying it by 8 to make it into 40ths. So 16 times 8, do that off to the side. Not letting me, I'm just going to do it here and erase it. So 6 times 8, 8 and 12. So we got 128 over 40. So I got positive 128 and negative 15. So I'm taking away the 15. So if I take away 15, that leaves me with 113 out of 40, which equals negative 8/9 x. All right, so that's the first step. Now the reciprocal. So this all cancels out. We got 9 over negative 8. So looking to see if anything will simplify. That's odd, so it's not going to simplify. Nope. Nope. So this is annoying because it won't simplify, but at least I know my final answer is my final answer. So 8 times 40 is 320. 113 times 9, do that one out. 1017. So that's our final answer, negative 1017 over 320. Seems like a crazy answer, but hopefully you followed along and did it right, okay? So just to review our steps, it helps to think of them as steps, and please write these down. Step 1, add opposite of addend, okay? And show an example problem So in this case, the addend would be the 3, okay? Obviously, do same on both sides, okay? So copy on the other side. Our step 2 is multiply the coefficient, which in this case is 5, by its reciprocal. And then obviously copy on the other side. And that'll be your answer. So in some ways, some people like this better because it's a set of rules each time. When you're doing one step, you're trying to figure out which step to do. But now you know you'll be doing both steps every single time.